Welcome to Rick's Corner. You guys have asked for Dave Haft to come back, and it took me, almost a year to get you?
I think longer than that. It's
maybe
a couple of years.
He is so busy. This man is so busy. You do a lot of special effects for the studios.
I used to. Now I just collect, and I kind of deal with private collectors and stuff. I don't really like to sell art anymore. I mean, I'll help friends out once in a while that have a project, but I mainly like to keep my own art. I don't like to sell.
Well, when you collect what? Movie posters, magazines?
I used to, a lot of that stuff. For some reason, a couple of years back, I got into old mortuary stuff. I don't know why. Maybe because of the old Dr. Frankenstein machines.
Yeah.
Old embalming machines.
Yeah.
Makeup kits.
You show me these, and they're all laid out like in a case, like perfect.
There's a museum of this stuff. It's a monster collection. I actually just bought 3 old 18th century funeral parlors out and cherry picked all their best stuff. So,
is there like an obsession with death?
It's not. It's the old makeups and all the old machinery and work and stuff. It's just beautiful. I mean, it's like it's stunning antiques that have never been touched.
No, I know.
And no one ever really goes after it, because anyone that goes for something like that, no one ever lives to tell about it.
Right.
You're on the table. You're dead by the time they work on any of that stuff.
You showed me a long time ago. You made a Frankenstein and a creature from the Black Lagoon.
Oh yeah, I did. A guy named Mark Alfrey had sculpted a beautiful creature, so I painted it rainbow colors and taxidermist Timberwolf eyes in it, and I love that stuff.
This is detailed stuff that he had made. I remember you had a head in your car that you made one day with the eyes were all glistening, and it looked like you were driving around with a monster in the car. Remember that? You pulled up the gym sitting on the passenger side?
There's stuff all over the place.
And this is what he makes. I went to your house once when you were up in Northridge, and you had fingers and hands in the it was in the toaster oven.
Right.
You were making them in there and then going to paint them.
You're right, cleaning out or drying out the material.
This is in the kitchen.
It's worse now. Nothing's changed.
No, nothing's changed. So when I first met you, you were training at the gym, and you were a little bit heavier, like a lot heavier.
Yeah.
Your arms were huge. Biggest triceps I've ever seen. Everybody always talks about Dave Haft's triceps. They're enormous. How big were your arms at that time? Do you remember?
Maybe 23.
Yeah, it looks like it. I think so. And what I saw you do for triceps, I do now. You know how you take the curl pad and you push against it?
Right, isometrics.
I get the best pump out of that than anything I ever tried.
Right.
I finish off with it.
Well, if you combine that with the weights, you're pushing the blood in.
Exactly.
And you can do 10 sets of 50 of that, and it really burns.
It really burns. It's the same thing. It's resistance no matter how you look at it.
Right.
Either with the weight or with your body.
The more repetition is better.
Yeah.
And I do shorter stuff now. I'm not really... the old theory was, well, if you don't do a full extension, then if the muscle forms, you won't be able to straighten your arm. And really, it's, at our age, or if you're going to walk around for 80, 90, hopefully 100 years, and you take a straw and you keep bending it back like that, something's going to give.
Sure.
You do too much on the joints. So if you do half a thing this way, and then the other one this way, you're not doing full motion. And I don't do any kind of weight on top of me anymore. Any gravity stuff that pushes down on the spine.
Yeah.
I'll lean over with preacher curls. I'll do chin-ups, pull-ups, dips. Nothing where anything's on my shoulders pushing me down.
Like
gravity.
No heavy squat.
No, nothing.
No,
Even standing with any weight.
Yeah.
Anything you're pushing down. Because once the pads give in between the joints, you're finished.
That makes a lot of sense, because your vertebrae goes up and down. You have these little pads in there, and over time they shrink down, and then you have spinal problems and you have pinched nerves.
Right. And who knows if they ever come up with something. I mean, I have stuff that I could work in and put in between people, but they're not going to let me do surgery on stuff. I mean, if they come up with some stuff with cushion stuff that'll work later on, they can replace that. That's not really too successful.
Exactly.
Right now. So once you ruin those pads, you want to do stuff where it doesn't put you in the ground, but it enhances your life.
Exactly.
That's
so. But when you started, you went heavy.
What do you mean?
When you started working out, you first started?
No, I eased up to it. I mean, it was just over time. I mean, I struggled for a year with 225 on the bench with another guy to get 4 or 5 reps with it.
But what'd you get up to?
The most I ever hit actually was 615, and no steroids, no chemicals or anything. But this is years and years of hitting it where you get kind of used to it.
I've never known you to take anything other than
never
milk.
Nothing. I mean, I don't even drink anymore. I drink water.
Yeah.
I play tennis with the kid. I don't even drink soda anymore. So, but it just takes time with anything. But I mean, if you're careful with it, and you do 10 sets of 10, and you don't push yourself, and you gradually move up, you're going to get stronger naturally.
Of course, every time you work out. What was your body weight then?
The most, when I hit that amount, I was about 195.
Seriously?
Yeah, it wasn't over 200 till I got older. When I got into the 40s and the system doesn't burn off the food anymore, then I gained the weight and I started getting like 230, 250, 260, and I'm like, oh my God, it's 267.
I remember that, and you'd come to me and say, man, I got to lose weight, but I can't stop drinking milk.
Yeah, I'm like, and it doesn't matter what you do with the exercise.
No.
At all, the weight will not burn off unless you cut the
This
food.
is something very true. I'm sure you guys have heard this before. People say, well, you don't have to worry about what you eat. You work out every day. No, that's not true.
No.
It doesn't matter how hard you work out. It does not burn off. You've really got to watch what you're eating.
Yeah, when I quit the sodas, and I quit all the sodas and carbohydrates for about a year, and I was just so bloated. And I thought, you know what? I think my daughter was doing some home monster movie, and I'm sitting in a chair and filmed me, and somebody said, "Don't wake the baby." I mean, it looked like I was pregnant. I go, God, I feel terrible. And I thought, you know what? I never tried to diet in my life, but I thought, you know what? I'm just not going to eat stuff that's going to put weight on. I said, tomorrow I'll drink water, I'll eat chicken, fish, salad, and I did that for a year, and stopped the sodas, within 60 to 90 days, I dropped 30 pounds.
I remember.
That quick.
I remember.
I mean, and now it stayed off. I play tennis about 5-6 days a week, 2 hours at a time, and I don't drink sodas, waters, the vegetables. You know, I'll have the cake or the bread and stuff once in a while.
Sure.
But the tennis really helps, the running around and the moving and stuff.
I'm sure it does. How many days a week are you working out in the gym?
I go about 5 days a week. I drop the child off at school, and I'm there at 7:30. I'll walk for an hour, and then I'll do some weights. Then I pick her up and play about 2.5 hours tennis about 5 days a week.
What are you doing as far as the weights? What kind of a workout is it now?
Curls, back arms, dips. You know, nothing too heavy anymore.
Back arms, triceps.
Yeah, triceps.
Back arm, as an old term, back arms.
I'll do the rope pull downs, and then I'll do the isometrics. I don't do the heavy stuff anymore. I used to lay down with 315 suicide, what they call suicide back arms. Like this. And but it was just so much on the elbows and the bones.
Yeah, it's got to be hard on the joints.
Well, the muscles get stronger than the bones and the tendons, so it's like too much engine for a car.
Exactly.
My hands would go numb. My elbows were killing me. Now I feel better.
Do you, because a lot of things have changed as you get older, for me especially. I use a lot, and actually I just saw Arnold and Franco working out in the gym. They're using machines for everything, cables and machines. Do you find that a little bit better than using the weights anymore?
Yeah, I don't mess with the free weights anymore. I mean, it's just loading on the weights and taking it off.
Yeah.
It was great at one time when you're younger, the big 45 pounds, but now all the machines they have, you could do you lay down, do the incline, do the bench, and then the free stuff, the chin-ups, pull-ups, preacher curls. You don't have to mess around with any of that. You're not going to drop anything and break your foot. I used to love the old pig iron back in the day.
We all did.
All the old rusty stuff, and that was the thing. But you don't really need it.
You don't need it. The machines like the hammer and the Cybex and all those machines today are engineered to work your body part just like the dumbbells did, or the barbells. I mean, the press machine's the same, the incline's the same. If you figure in your mind, and I used to say, if you think in your mind you're doing the dumbbell workout, for example, you're doing the pushes with the dumbbells on the bar, but you're on a machine, you'll get the same effect as you do with that, because your mind is telling your body what to do.
Right.
So your body follows what it's suggested to do, and then you get your results. Same thing with cable curls. I did them today. There's a handle of little balls in the end. I did the cable curls with 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. All right, 12 reps. Boy, my biceps pumped off that.
Yeah.
And so as long as I was there, well, I'll just do tricep push downs and superset them like old school. Right?
Then you come back fresh each time. You could do half the workout doing the curls and back arms.
Yeah.
You can go one from the other, and you don't get tired.
You don't get tired
because you're pushing the blood around.
And then I did what you did. I go over to the preacher bench, and I'm doing. It has a little curved handle for the cable, and I'm doing curls on top of the bench. And then the minute I got it down, I did the tricep pushes from there. Yeah. Superset. It worked great.
Perfect.
It's perfect.
Especially do 10 sets of 50 or something, and it burns like fire.
Well, I didn't do 50.
But you get used to it like anything.
Yeah, I know. 50 is a lot. I mean, I know you do get used to it, and it does work.
You don't have to do a long spurt. You do a short spurt with it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it's.
My son did that night before last. He told me, he said, I did the Arnold presses. I did 3 sets of 50 reps. He said, my shoulders had never pumped like that in my life. And it was only like 20-pound weights, maybe 10s, 20s. But it worked. Back in the day, we would never use 20-pound weights.
Right. It'd be embarrassing.
The girls use that.
Well, that's the thing is you got to change, you really got to change what you're doing in order to suit your life, instead of the image with it. You want to do it where you feel good.
Exactly.
That keeps you good. I mean, I thought I'd never go in the gym and not warm up with 315 on the incline.
Yeah.
I go, this would be embarrassing.
Yeah.
And it really doesn't matter anymore. After I had spine surgery, and I'm like, I'm not going to mess around. You know, the pinching in the legs for about 3 years and stuff. And he went in and corrected everything and drilled open the canals to the nerves. And he said, hey, 18 months to let the bone heal. Let it heal up. You got another 50 years on your spine.
Yeah, because it compresses the nerve.
Right.
I have that right now in my fingers. I have a compressed nerve in my neck, which makes my hand go numb.
Right.
They have a new prolotherapy where they shoot solution in around the nerve, and it takes away the tissue that creates pressure on the nerve, and it just opens it up and lets it work again. It's in place of surgery.
And if they give you where you're no pain anymore, then work around it. That's what the whole trick is, to be able to adapt to whatever you're doing.
It is that. Any suggestions or advice for these young guys today who are training hard like this?
I mean, don't hurt yourself. If you hurt yourself or you do too much, it's going to cost you later on.
Yeah.
I mean, and you're going to feel it later, and then what's going to happen is you're not going to be able to do anything. So if you kind of take your time with it and ease into it, you're still going to get strong and healthy, but you want to do it where it's healthy, not where you don't have to outdo the person next to you or be the strongest or this or that. There's always stuff to, remember Vince?
Sure.
Used to come in the gym. I knew him since we were a kid, and I look, he's got, everything in the gym on the leg press, and he's laying there with it, and he's got both the knees wrapped up. And I just walked over to him, I said, I got one question for you. Why?
Exactly. And not only that, you see them doing the reps, and it's just like, here's the leg press, and here's a rep. They're not even coming way back.
Right.
So why put all that weight on there to do 3 inches of a rep,
And if you're not doing it they're not paying you big money to get beat up or beat yourself up, be smart about it.
Exactly. How's your diet now? You eat good?
Yeah, good. I eat healthy and stuff. I don't drink sodas or anything like that. And once in a while, I'll have a little sweets and stuff. And I do burn that off with the tennis though, because I don't eat like bread and noodles and all that stuff every day. I can feel it.
Yeah.
And especially with a 17-year-old kid, and she's really fast and good with the tennis.
She's good.
If I eat or I have it in my stomach, I can't hit the shots back, and I can't keep up.
That's funny because in bodybuilding, a lot of guys preach eat your pasta and eat your rice or your oatmeal for your energy, your carbs. I can't. It just fills me up, and I feel like sluggish.
Right.
I do the cottage cheese instead because it's a source of protein, and then I don't feel so bad about it. But as you get older, you keep the meals lighter, but you make sure you have your protein enough. Fresh fruits are good and veggies, and you're good to go. A lot of water.
Yeah, you can tell though when you start doing too much of something. And you're kind of like the eating shouldn't make you tired.
No.
If it's making you tired, you're either doing too much, eating too much, or eating the wrong stuff.
Yeah, and the other thing is, someone was telling me today, you're going to work abs. I said, no, my waist is big enough. And there's a truth in that, because when you do work your abs is a muscle. The muscle is going to grow. You can sharpen them up by crunches, but you don't want it to grow like your arms do, because the minute your abs get bigger, your waist gets bigger. You say, oh my God, I feel like I'm getting fat.
Right.
So you do more abs, it gets even bigger and bigger. So I think minimal on the abs, just crunches. The rest is all diet.
I actually stopped the sit-ups years ago.
A lot of guys did.
Yeah, I had done it for 10 years, and my thought was, it'll work like a cage and keep the fat in. Mm-hmm. But then when it gets bigger and bigger, you look heavy in clothes.
It gets bigger underneath the fat.
Right, exactly.
So then you can't button your pants. And you say, my God, I've been working out and watching them, and my pants are getting tighter and tighter, and it's your abs getting bigger.
And then if you're not on some fish or water diet, you don't see the squares anyway, you just see a belly.
Exactly.
And you're like, and I used to joke with my wife, we'd be in Hawaii, and I'd tell her it's muscle under the stomach, and I'd see shots of myself, and I'd go, God, you look like a retired wrestler with the belly.
Well, even though because that's what I am.
Yeah, even though it was muscle under the stomach, it didn't look good.
You're right. It just makes it look bloated, and it's just not good. Well, one more thing. I know you're an artist, and you know that I designed the Gold's Gym logo. And for you guys out there, it's on my website. You can order this. It's personally signed to you and autographed by me if you want to buy it, and a piece of history and hang it on your wall. You have to purchase the frame yourself. I'll send it to it like this, unless I have it framed. But go to my website, rickdrasin.com. You can find it if you want it. Get it, put it on your wall. It'll be history. Once I'm gone, I'll be even worth more. I think in another 50 years. I probably should live till 120.
You'll last long.
And I hope so. Well, thank you, Dave, for being here. I really appreciate it. You're right on time, boy. And that's been really nice. And thank you guys for watching Rick's Corner. It was fun having Dave. He's got a lot to talk about, and he's got good advice for you with the heavy training, pinch nerves and your vertebrae, and just take it easy and train hard. Little by little by little, you grow into what you want to do and what's your diet, right?
That's it.
Okay.
Do it to enhance your life, not to put you in the ground.
Exactly.
Else you'll be visiting me on my displays.
Exactly. See you guys next time.
It's rickdrasin.com. He is the equalizer, baby. See you next time.